Welcome to Unlocking Your Truth, another podcast by Dr. Lesley Phillips.
Hello everybody and welcome to Unlocking Your Truth with Dr. Lesley. My name is Dr. Lesley Phillips and I will be your host for the next hour. And we have a fabulous show packed in for you tonight. And what I thought we could talk about this evening is beliefs. Belief structures, belief systems, and all starting from the perspective of you create your reality through your beliefs. So just take a moment to contemplate what that really is saying. I'll repeat again. You create your reality through your beliefs. So take a look around. Take a look around you, where you are right now, and look at all that physical reality around you. If my statement is true, which I believe it is, you are creating that physical reality around you. And not only that, if you take a look around your life in a more spiritual sense, or a more circumstantial sense, and look at all the various circumstances that exist in your life right now. Look at all the various relationships, your relationships with other people, your relationships with yourself and your body, your relationship with money, your relationship with absolutely anything and everything is your creation. And I want to sort of do a dramatic pause there because, how many of us really get that down to our bones, down to a cellular level? Not many of us. But it is true. And if we can wake up to that fact, if we can wake up to that realization, then how very powerful we become. Because if we create our own reality, guess what? We have the power to change anything in it. We have the power to let go of what creations we've made that we don't like and bring in some new ones. So let's start with beliefs. What is a belief? A belief is simply a thought form. It's a thought form that you are choosing to operate from. It's a thought form that you may be under the illusion is the truth, but it may not be. And you know what? Just like thoughts, you'll notice in your mind, thoughts come and they go. But you can learn to be in charge of your thoughts, and you can therefore dissolve the thoughts that are limiting you or that are not supporting you. And if you're a regular listener to the show, you might recognize that pretty much every time we get a question, no matter what the question is about, it all comes down to the belief system of the caller. It really does. So at the heart of everything, there's you, but then there's this framework of beliefs around you that you're projecting your reality through. Really, that's what it is. That's what you're doing. I always like he's this Data, the Doctor in Star Trek, and they have him in this little crystal, like a little crystal cube, and then when they turn him on, he holographically projects out of that. And it just really reminds me of this idea that you You are consciousness projecting your reality. You are consciousness projecting your body, and take that one step further than data, because he just projects the illusion of his body. You are also consciousness projecting all of the circumstances around you, all of the circumstances in your reality. Kind of hard to believe, isn't it, when something painful or difficult happens, or when somebody triggers you. You know, we like to point the finger. Well, that's you, and if you would change, then everything would be okay. But guess what? You're giving your power away when you say something like that, because you're not owning the fact that you create your reality. And if you want to see any change at all in your reality, change yourself, change your own beliefs. Everything in your life is a reflection of yourself. Another great analogy is really that you have landed yourself in this big fun park hall of mirrors. And everywhere you look, you know, it's a distortion, perhaps, of your own reflection being reflected back at you. Everything. And so, you know, how do we ever truly know another person? Very rarely do we truly know another person, because really what we're doing in our relationships with other people is we are responding to our projection of who we believe they are. We're responding to our projection of who we believe they are. And for a lot of us, that's where a lot of our pain begins, because all we really want is to be seen for who we are, and accepted for who we are, and loved for who we are. And so many of us are not given that gift, because we're dealing with people who are operating from their own framework of beliefs and projections through those beliefs, which distorts the reality. So, yeah, that's what I thought we could talk about today. And really another way of saying this is about your vibrational relationship with the universe. So whatever you hold within your energy field, whatever vibration, whatever frequency you are emitting, it's like sending a homing signal out to the universe. And the universe has no choice but to match that frequency. And so when we believe something, our beliefs are always reinforced by the universe, because we're putting out a frequency that it then matches, and we go, see, I knew it all along, that was true. You know, whether it's, I'm always abandoned in relationships. When you were a child, your parents were divorced, and one of your parents left, and then your first boyfriend dumped you for your best friend, and then on and on and on, a whole string of relationships where you go through the repetition of the initial abandonment issue. And it seems like it's telling you something about the world, when what it's really telling you something about is a core wounding that occurred early in your life inside of you, that caused you to lay down a belief that you've then been transmitting out into the universe, because you're holding it within your field, and the universe says, okay, well, here's another match for that. This is obviously is what you're wanting, because if you weren't wanting it, why would you be sending out that frequency? And it really happens. It happens in everything. And so when we have a circumstance that happens again and again, and we feel like we're banging our head against the wall, oh no, not this again, oh no, why me? Well, the answer is turn within, examine your beliefs, and see what framework of beliefs you have built that are supporting what is happening here. And, one of the commonest beliefs that I see in some form or another, I would go so far as saying everybody that I see, is unworthiness, some form of worthlessness, some form of unworthiness. It's like a human thing. We all have some of this unworthiness. I'm not worthy. I'm not good enough. And even if we appear to be believing the opposite of that, which is I'm fantastic and I'm better than everybody else, then it's still a version of it's just the cover to cover up the unworthiness that's underneath it. And so just imagine if we could let go of that belief in our unworthiness, in our powerlessness. That's the other one. Powerlessness and victim mentality. I'm powerlessness. Life is something that happens to me. I'm just dealt these circumstances and I'm powerless to do anything about it. So just imagine if we would stop believing in our powerlessness, if we would stop believing in our worthlessness, and we would and all it takes is just a frame shift. Shift your consciousness, dissolve that belief, choose to believe something different. Because at the heart of the matter, you really can do that. And imagine if we all did that. What a different world we would be creating. If we all believed in ourselves, if we all believed that we could have what we wanted and be what we wanted and do what we wanted, and if we all truly to the core of our beings believed that, then we would co-create a very different world. So I hope you feel inspired. I hope you feel inspired to look within and just do a little experiment. Look at your life and say, okay, what's this picture telling me? What make two lists. What am I happy with in my life? What is fulfilling and joyful to me? And what is the opposite to that? Maybe you're in a job that you hate. You'd love to be doing something else, but you just don't believe that you can have that something else because you believe you have to tie yourself to this 9-to-5 hamster wheel. Take a look. See where it is that you're compromising yourself. See where it is where you're not where you're not loving and supporting yourself. And then ask the question, what belief am I holding? What belief am I holding that is supporting this framework of reality that life keeps dealing to me? Because all you need to do to create the shift is find that belief and dissolve it. That's it. Very, very simple and inspiring and empowering. So, I didn't introduce the producer who's in the studio with me at the beginning of the show. His name is Corey. Hi, Corey.
Hi. I was wondering when you said conversation, who you were having a conversation with, because
the listeners. I'm having a telepathic conversation with the listeners. I'm inspiring them and uplifting them to consciously create their reality. Because here's the thing, folks. You create your reality anyway, whether you do it consciously or not, right? So I would say it's probably preferable to do it consciously, because if you're not doing it consciously, you're doing it unconsciously. And when you think how many different thoughts that crop up in our minds during the day, and all of those thoughts are little signals going out, right? So consciously create your reality. Understand that the framework of your existence is supported, or the framework that you're perceiving to be your existence is supported by your beliefs. So, if you don't like something, change your beliefs. Identify what you need to change and then do it. And act upon it to reinforce it, So if you're somebody who believes that it's not safe to speak up, let go of the belief that it's not safe to speak up, and then start shifting the behavior, right? Little by little, speak up. And pretty soon you'll be in a completely different dimension of reality than you were in once you've changed that belief. Really, when you think about it, when we go to anyone for help, really, a lot of the different professions that assist us are helping us with our beliefs. And I know, for example, Corey, he's a trained hypnotherapist.
You read my mind.
And he, of course, I'm good at that. And he also does matrix energetics.
When you do something, it's more about reality than the different realities. When we do something in a certain way, where you react to something in a certain way, that's how we react to it. And most people don't understand that they understand there are many different ways to react, but their mind, in essence, hasn't made the choice to react differently.
Yeah.
And all hypnosis is especially in healing and in working with people, it's allowing the mind to understand that there is another way to do it, and that it is okay to make that choice to change that reality.
Right.
It's about. I think one of the words that you haven't used yet in this conversation is responsibility. If no matter where we are, that's where we are. If no matter what we do, that's what we caused ourselves to do. We have to take on that responsibility. But I think a lot of people try to run from that fact that no matter what happens in their life, this would mean that if you're in charge of your reality, then you're responsible for the outcome of your choices.
Yeah, it's absolutely right. I mean, I guess I use the word empowerment, but I would also use the word responsibility, and that's where a lot of people get off. They ask, for somebody on this show to do a future time prediction for them, or then you're not. If you want to believe in fate and external circumstances delivering your reality to you, then you're not taking responsibility for your reality. If you want to blame another person, then you're not taking responsibility for your reality. So yeah, we are completely 100% responsible for our own reality and our own creations, and everything in our lives is our creation.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
And another thing that you said was we have the power to change our reality. I think I would phrase it, we have the ability to change our reality, but the power comes at a certain acceptance. I mean, we do it all the time, but we do it unawares. And I think power comes with awareness that it can be done. And anything can be done. I mean, there are people in this world who create things out of nothing. There's a fellow up north here in BC who can create gold out of nothing. Just it appears. And people go, that's impossible. Of course that's impossible. And guess what? When you think that, you will never be able to create gold out of thin air. It's true. I mean, isn't that I'll never find a girlfriend.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
No, you won't, exactly.
And I go back to my friend who used to say, I'll never find a boyfriend. I'll never find a boyfriend. And there were guys drooling over her all the time. She's
not able to see them.
She just doesn't see it, doesn't want to create that reality within her life.
That's really the point that I was making, that sort of people around you, they're a projection of your own perception of who they are. So exactly, somebody who has that belief that, I'm ugly, I'm unworthy, I'm not attractive, or for whatever reason, nobody's going to love me and I'll never find a boyfriend. Doesn't matter how many guys are out there finding her attractive, she's not going to be able to. She's not on the same vibration that allows her to perceive it and receive it.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And belief systems are easy. Actually, people think that belief systems are hard to change, but they're not hard to change. You just have to have the right desire or the right stimulus to change them. For instance, you can be in love with somebody, drastically in love with them, and trust them to the nth degree. But if they cheat on you, what happens? You change their belief system around that person, and it's instantaneous, and it lasts. It's there.
Yeah, I've always found that odd that I can understand relationships ending and people going their separate ways, but what I can't understand is when you love. I mean, love is who we are. And love underpins everything. And when you've loved someone so much, and then, when people separate and it just turns to all of that other stuff, I feel that there's a way of being as a human where we can accept the separation and still love that other person.
Yeah, but you're not in love with that other person anymore. You love that person, but you're not, quote unquote, in a relationship or desire to be in a relationship with that person anymore.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, one minute you're desiring to be in a relationship with an individual with all your might, mind, and soul, and the next instant, no. You want that person out of your life so fast that it makes your head spin.
Well, you're making a different choice.
Yeah,
and you've changed your mind about what you believe.
Belief has changed in that person. The belief around that environment changed. So you can change. And you see people with heart conditions and diseases that the doctor will tell them, if you continue eating, smoking, drinking, that you will be dead in a month. And people will either believe that and just continue doing it, or they'll stop. Even though they said they couldn't quit smoking, they couldn't quit drinking, they do it if the stimulus presents the idea of something that you really desire.
Yeah.
So the power, in essence, as you say, is there, but it's more of a choice and an ability to do so. We all have the ability to make changes in our reality.
Yeah. We do, folks. We all have the ability to change our reality by changing our beliefs.
There's so many good movies about that as well. There's so many good books and movies on how to do that.
Yeah. Anyway, I guess we're at the time in the show where we take your questions now. And even though we've been talking about belief systems, you can frame and ask any question at all, although I'm sure the answer will come down to a belief system, actually, whatever question you ask.
Always does.
But we do have some email questions. I know that for sure.
Yep. We have one that came in actually last week, so I'm going to read it this week. And it just happens to be from Ronald, who must have had a forewarning of what the show was going to be out. And Ronald wants to know, what can you tell me about the healing of my digestive system? Thanks.
Okay. I'll take a look at that. And for anyone who doesn't listen on a regular basis, what I do is I just go into an altered state of consciousness, and sometimes it just takes me a moment or two to tune into the energy of the person. So we're going to take a look at Ronald. I'm going to take a look at Ronald and took a look at Ronald's energy and then give some information to him about his digestive system. And, funnily enough, what I'm looking at is maybe not what I might have expected. So I'm actually seeing some kind of energy block in the area of the throat. And it looks like part of it has to do with stuff that I'm sort of almost being forced to take in. that I just can't stomach, and I'd really like to throw back out, but I can't, so I'm just going to like hold it all in. That's the feeling that I'm getting with this, Ronald. So, I'm actually seeing that part of what it has to do with is fear of speaking up, fear of speaking your truth, fear of saying, no, I don't agree with that, or no, I don't want to do that, or, just no. So it looks like you've been taking in stuff that is not in alignment with what you're really wanting for yourself. And I'm kind of talking metaphorically, although it's obviously manifesting as a physical thing. And I wonder whether your digestive issues, whether there's some food allergies there. Because it wouldn't surprise me if we talked in more depth that you said, well, there's some food allergies, because it's definitely a reaction to stuff you're taking in your life that isn't a fit, but for some reason you're believing you have to say yes to them. You have to force yourself to do it. You have to force yourself to take it in. And I'm going to just take a look at... And of course, it stems back to your childhood and beliefs that were laid down in your childhood. And I'm seeing two things, and one is stronger than the other. The one that's stronger than the other is it actually looks like there may have been a childhood illness where you were forced to take your medicine. And like as all kids, they don't want to. It tastes nasty. I just, and they do what they can not to take that spoon in the mouth, but the parent will force it down their gullet. And so I'm seeing some images from your childhood like that, where it's sort of like, you might not want this, but you have to have it, and being forced to do it. And so I'm seeing it literally in terms of taking medicine, and maybe even also in terms of eat everything on your plate, eat your greens, and all of that. But then I'm also just seeing it in in having. Well, let me see. I was going to say a strict upbringing. I'm not sure if you had a strict upbringing, but it looks definitely. Yes, it does. It looks like you definitely had a relationship. It looks like your father, maybe both parents, where it's like, you do what we say. You do what we tell you. Even if we have to drag you kicking and screaming, you do what we say. So I'm seeing you have a belief that you have to do what other people tell you, do what other people want you to do. And so you're taking in stuff that you can't stomach, you can't digest, but you believe you have to. So it looks like the key to you is letting go of the belief. It is really where is starting to be really conscious about when people ask you a favor or whatever it is. Do I really want to say yes to this, or do I really want to say no? And then realize you are under no obligation to say yes, and challenge yourself to start saying no. So challenge yourself to start behaving a bit differently. And to me, that looks like that's the key to unlocking your truth, unlocking your issue is actually speaking up and not taking stuff in the first place that's going to disagree with you and disagree with your system. So I hope that helps, Ron. And do we have another one, Corey?
Yep, we have one from Kathy, who's this is another good belief system question, and create your own reality question. And it is, will my husband and I be financially ready or secure to buy our dream house within the next 6 months?
Dream house within the next 6 months. And that's Kathy. Well, let's take a look. And of course, before I even go into trance and look at it, I just want to say, well, do you want to be ready? You create your own reality. Do you believe that you can be ready? So let's take a look. So just taking a look at you and your husband. So what I want to say to this is really, maybe the word would be trust or trust the universe. Because I'm seeing that you're actually being very deliberate and very conscious about this. Because I'm seeing that you're there and you're focused on your money and you're focused on managing your money and you're focused on saving up and and really feeling good when the savings start to accumulate and all of that. And there actually is a lot of positive energy around it. But there's also a lot of controlling energy around it. So on the one hand, I want to say it looks really good. Like you're really focused. You know what you want. You've got your intention set on it. You're focused on it. You're taking action to allow it to happen. But where the limiting belief is, the limiting belief says I or we, me and my husband, have to do it all. It's like the only way is kind of like hard graft and us having to do it all. Well, what if you were to let go of that limit and just say to the universe, I really intend to have my dream house. In fact, I'm at the vibrational match for my dream house now, and I trust and believe that it is possible. And just be in that energy now without knowing how it's going to come to you. Because if you do it that way, then you're opening yourself up to a wider range of possibilities that you couldn't even imagine or contemplate, but you give them the space to come come to you. So that would be my answer for Kathy. Corey,
remember those folks in Hawaii in the manifestation circle who were looking for a house in Hawaii near the beach with room for a business and gardens and everything, but didn't have any money? And somebody asked him to take over their business and their house. Yeah. And they got everything they wanted. And it didn't cost them a penny.
Just dropped out of the sky.
Yeah, it was incredible. Anyway, things happen, things happen. So here's a question from Mary. Mary'd like to know, what can you tell me about my future love?
Future love?
You will like apricots.
Okay, let's take a look. And of course, it goes without saying, I don't do future time predictions, and the reason is not that it's not possible. The reason is that the future only exists as a thought form, as a probability amongst a probability field, and you actually create your future by deciding which of those. By the choices that you make, it will get you to a specific future time reality. So what can I tell you about your future love? Really what I can tell you is it depends on every choice that you make between now and when you actually meet that person. And that there are many different avenues and possibilities that are open to you, and depending on the choices that you make, you will end up at a different outcome. And let me look at your energy and see if there's any limiting beliefs that are preventing you creating what you want. There's one massive, big, huge belief that says I am not enough. Unless I have a relationship, unless I have a partner, unless I have that other person that validates my existence, because then it means that I am worthy, because there is somebody that loves me, and the whole of the outside world can see then that I am loved, and therefore that I am lovable. And so I'm seeing that you, to truly get what you want, you need to let go of the belief that you are not worthy and the need to be validated from anywhere outside of you. Because the truth is, in the core of your being, you are love. And so anything else that you believe about yourself that is not a vibrational match for that is an illusion, is a thought form, is a belief structure that you are projecting and operating from. So, you know, it sounds trite that all the spiritual teachers out there say, you know, love yourself first. But it's true. It's true. Love yourself first. And, you know, and those are not empty words. What that means is connect with the love and the light that is at the core of your being, and dissolve all the illusions that say you are not love. And because you are source energy, you are an aspect of the divine. How can you not be worthy? It's just unfathomable. It's just no way true. No way true. But a lot of us like to believe that it's true about ourselves. So that's my answer for Mary. What's the next question?
It's a good one.
Oh, good.
It's a good one.
I like good ones.
Okay. This is from Rosalind. And Rosalind would like to know, how can I best resolve my past life interferences?
Past life interferences? Okay. Well, let's take a look at that. Seems like you have some idea of what these past life interferences are. Okay. Let's take a look. I mean, actually, just to be trite, before I go into trance, along with the theme of the show, it would be, well, stop believing that you have any past life interferences, and you won't. But anyway, I'm going to take a look, so bear with me. Past life. Okay, so I see that there is one past life that at the present point in time is having a really strong resonance and an impact or connection with the current lifetime. So, so I'm going to take a look at the life, but I'm also going to take a look at you, because you look kind of great. I'm seeing that actually, where you're at the end, you're at the completion of a particular cycle of growth and change. In the current lifetime, and about to begin a new cycle of growth and change. And it's sort of like that. It feels like this. It's like you're almost questioning and saying, can it be true? Can I be complete with this? Am I ready to move on? So there's some questioning, and I'm just seeing that sometimes you're not trusting what you know. And so what it's like to me is sometimes you're really connected with that stream of consciousness that's coming from source that is you, and then and everything's great, and there's just a flow, and then sometimes for some reason you pull yourself out of it and you question it, and then your growth sort of halts momentarily. And the past life that is coming up, let's take a look. Well, I look at a symbol to get me into the past life. I'm seeing a shoe buckle, a boot buckle, and I'm seeing I'm seeing you being a male body, and it's European, so you're a white male. Kind of looks a bit like Robin Hood, except not like the archetype Robin Hood, but that era, with those sort of pointy hats with a feather in and the buckled. The clothes you're wearing are black; they're not green, but it just reminds me a little bit of that. And actually, it also reminds me of I'm going to say sort of Dutch or German sort of puritanical society, and okay. I'm seeing that you had a lover, and I'm looking at the point at which you're making your way out of the boudoir, and let's see. Okay, so the sense that I'm getting is that you were married, and that you were not getting everything that you wanted from your marriage, and so you went to other places to get what you wanted. And I'm seeing specifically in terms of sex and your sexuality, and I'm seeing part of the reason was it looks like your wife had just had lots of babies, and or sometimes when even at the point I'm looking now, maybe she's heavily pregnant, and I'm seeing that there's just lots of kids, and so that's what you're doing. You're going off and having some fun outside of the marriage, and you've got this idea that says, so it's sort of like this. It's like a two-level thing. On the one hand, it says I can't have what I want, and on the next level, it says I can't be seen to have what I want. So I can't have what I want. I can't be seen to have what I want. And so then there's this feeling that you have to, be underhand about things, or you can't be out in the open about things, or, that some things you just have to keep to yourself behind closed doors. But you see, the example came up as a sexual example, but I'm seeing that metaphor is taken more broadly into life in the current incarnation. So it's not really about that. It's just about these beliefs that say, I can't have what I want. I can't be seen to have or be taking what I want. And so it just looks like the growth cycle that's been finishing has been about you discovering what you want, discovering what brings you joy in the current incarnation, and you're wanting to finish that cycle and move into the cycle of actually, now I know what I want, I'm going to go for it and I'm going to have it. And the thing that's stopping you is this belief, I can't have what I want, I can't be seen to have or be taking what I want. And so, what can you do about that? What we've been talking about all evening, which is dissolve the belief. Dissolve the belief, which isn't true, because you can have what you want. All right, next one.
Okay, this is from Pauline. And Pauline would like to know, is ACN my path to financial abundance?
Okay, I will take a look at that. And then there's one long one on there, and I promised the lady I'd do it, so that would be the next one. Okay, so she says, is ACN the path to my financial abundance?
Exactly.
Do you know what ACN is?
Yes, I do.
Well, what is it?
ACN is a multi-level network, and I can't remember what but it resells energy and telephone systems. And
okay.
time.
All right, so let's take a look. For Pauline. Is ACN the key to my financial abundance, she asks. Well, really, after all we've talked about tonight, of course the answer has to be you are the key to your own financial abundance. So something outside of you is not the key to your financial abundance. You are. And so, I'm not sure whether would she be working for it, or would it be an investment? Could it be either?
If she's working.
She'd be working in it. So, I mean, to me, it looks like a good opportunity. It looks bright. But in terms of what you make of that opportunity in your own reality, that comes down to your own belief system. And I'm seeing that one of the things that's going on with you is that you're looking outside of yourself for the solution instead of inside of yourself. So you're not realizing I create my financial abundance to some degree. It looks like to some degree you are realizing that, because it's, you're realizing that you make choices, and you might make a choice that brings something wonderful and so on. But I'm also seeing that you're not getting it on a deep level. And so that's where I would go. I would say there's nothing wrong in making that choice to work for ACN. It looks fairly bright to me. But I would say how it's about how that then filters down into your reality. Depends on you and your belief structures. And it also looks like there's some it does look like within that system there's possibly a hierarchy that would be necessary to wiggle your way through. It looks like there's some people there that are making a lot of money, and some people there that are kind of stuck at where there's a ceiling. Okay, so next one.
Next one is from Suzanne. And Suzanne writes, I have been thinking about getting a job lately and the will to go through with it, or to work with anything that is not there, even though I know I need money and need to go do something with myself. I've also been feeling really tired every day, even if I get enough sleep. I could sleep all day. What's going on? What should I do about getting a job?
Okay, thank you. Yes, that's the lady that I promised we would do on the show. So I will take a look, and we're calling her Susan. So I'm going to tune into your energy, Susan. And we're going to take a look at the question about you, and we'll start with you and your energy distribution and why you're feeling tired. And yeah, your energy, it actually does look fairly strange. And so I might give you a healing in order to be able to see it better, because okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to help you to ground. And what grounding does is it helps you bring your energy into your physical body. It helps you bring your energy into your physical body. And it looks like you're spending a lot of time outside of your body. So for sure when you're asleep you're outside of your body, but it looks like during the waking hours you're not really in your body. And so let me give you a hand grounding into your body, and then I might be able to see what's going on here. So Susan, I would like to ask you, if you were here, whether you take any medication, and either recreational medication or prescribed medication, because it looks like there's something that's really affecting your energy. And I'm going to give you a hand. I don't know if you know about chakras and what they are, but there's an energy center on the top of your head, which you only need to keep it about 8 to 10% open in order for you to channel your own energy into your own body. And pores was like massively open, and you're ungrounded, so it's just all kicking you out of your body. And so we want to sort of just help you bring that back into balance so that you can just stay in your body a little bit. And I mean, really, that's the key. The key to it all is helping you stay in your body. So we've got about 5 minutes left, so it might take me a little bit of time to help figure this out for you. I'm going to get my healing guide to come and help as well. So my healing guide is telling me to look at your heart center, and I'm seeing something wedged in your heart center, and it's actually like it reminds me of the bow out of a bow and arrow. And it's almost it's funny because it's almost like, well, it reminds me of giving up. It makes me feel like you've given up. It's sort of like somebody who maybe you were shot. I'm just making this up, but you know, you get shot by an arrow 3 times, and then you go, oh well, I may as well stuff the whole bow in there then, you know. So it just looks like you've given up. It looks like you know, you've had some things that have happened to you on a sort of heart level that have been painful, and you just said, well, then I just want to escape from life because you know, I'm not enjoying it. It's not fun for me. So we're moving that out of the heart center, and that looks like that helped actually. And then we're going to see what else. Yeah, your energy is still looking quite interesting here. So I want to look at the solar plexus center, and also look at your will, like you said, your will and your motivation. And honestly, it just looks like you. Honestly, it just looks like you've. I'm looking at somebody who's just given up, and just closed their connections with physical reality down. And so I'm giving you a healing in your third chakra now. And the third chakra is an important one for you because it's the one that relates to your outer body experiences, so when you're asleep. But it's also the one that relates to how you distribute your energy, right? So wanting to get up, get out the house, get a job, and all of that. So it looks like there's something crucial here that we should probably take a look at. And well, all I'm going to do is giving you a healing, because this energy center also, it looks quite. It looks. So the other thing that I'm seeing is that your space looks quite invaded, and it's almost like. So I wish I had you on the phone actually, because I could ask you if you'd taken any recreational drugs and so on, because it almost looks like somebody who's done something like that, and that it's caused some damage to the energy system. Because the third chakra just looks invaded. It looks like it's not owned by you. It just looks like you've been neglecting your body. You've been leaving it. You've been vacating it. And really the answer for you is, if you listen to the show a lot, and I know that you've tried to listen sometimes at least, is look for a show where we talk about grounding, and pretty much most shows we talk about grounding. And what grounding is you create a flow of energy from near the base of your spine to the center of the earth, and it helps bring you into your body. It helps bring you into your body. It helps you let go of whatever is causing you to be outside of your body. And And I would just say, do things, whatever you can think of, whatever small thing that you can find the energy for, to make you feel in your body. You know, whether it's taking a walk outside, whether it's doing a little bit of exercise, just get grounded in your body. Because taking the step of finding a job, it looks like you need to get the motivation back first. And to get the motivation back, it looks like you need to own your body. And so part of that is to stop escaping from physical reality and look for the reason that you're escaping as well. And like I said, I'm seeing that, maybe there was some kind of substance that you've taken that's affected you. And then we could look at whether there's any reason behind that, which, unfortunately we don't have any time for.
Thank you for joining us. You've been listening to another Unlocking Your Truth podcast by Dr. Lesley Phillips. For more information, go to our website at drlesleyphillips.com. That's drlesleyphillips.com, where you can ask questions or send her an email, and there's many free gifts on there for you as well. Come back again.